Most people pay little or no attention to the Old Testament. This isn't surprising since most churches claim that Jesus abolished the Old Testament and that the Torah doesn't apply to Christians. Many sermons today consist of an entertaining and sentimental story that leaves people with a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, but they don't contain any absolute moral standards or condemnation of sin based on the Torah. In other words, modern preachers don't sound anything like the Apostle Paul. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 1. For I do not want you to be unaware, brothers, that our fathers were all under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank from the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ. Nevertheless, with most of them God was not pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things took place as examples for us, that we might not desire evil as they did. Paul reminded the Corinthians that God did great miracles for the Israelites during the Exodus. He sent a cloud by day and a column of fire at night to protect them and guide them. He parted the Red Sea and gave them manna from heaven and water from a rock in the middle of a desert. Every time the Israelites faced problems, they lacked faith and wanted to go back into Egyptian slavery. They were selfish, ungrateful, disobedient, and rebellious. So God made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years until that entire generation died. He prevented them from entering the promised land because of their sinfulness. Paul used this example from the Torah to warn the Corinthians that God could and would do the same thing to them if they didn't repent of their sins and put their trust in God. He emphasized that these things took place as examples for us, that we might not desire evil as they did. This lesson is just as relevant for us today as it was when Paul first wrote it. But Paul didn't stop there. He was just getting started. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 7. Do not be idolaters, as some of them were, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. We must not indulge in sexual immorality, as some of them did, and 23,000 fell in a single day. We must not put Christ to the test, as some of them did, and were destroyed by serpents, nor grumble, as some of them did, and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now these things happened to them as an example, but they were written down for our instruction, on whom the end of the ages has come. Paul again cited examples from the Torah to teach the Corinthians important lessons about morality and proper Christian behavior. In Exodus 32, Israel worshipped the golden calf at the foot of Mount Sinai. In Numbers 25, Israel committed idolatry and sexual immorality with the women of Moab at Baal Peor, and 23,000 died. In Numbers 21, Israel spoke against God and Moses, so God sent snakes to kill them. In Numbers 11, the people complained that they had no meat, so God gave them quail and struck them down with a plague while the meat was still between their teeth. Passage after passage shows that the Torah is God's basic definition of right and wrong for all humanity. Jesus expected his disciples to teach and keep the Mosaic Law, and the apostles affirmed the authority of the Torah throughout the New Testament. Paul didn't believe that the Torah was irrelevant as a guide for proper Christian behavior, and neither should we.